Hey everyone! Today, we're diving into a nostalgic trip down memory lane with my top 10 PS1 games. Let's get started. Remember those chunky gray consoles and those pixelated polygons that somehow made the most epic stories? Yeah, those were the days. We're talking about the original PlayStation, the console that brought gaming to a whole new level. So grab your CRT TVs, dust off those memory cards, and get ready for some serious nostalgia as we go through the games that defined a generation. First up, we have Legend of Legaia. This game blew my mind with its unique combat system. Forget random encounters. In Legaia, you see your enemies and you gotta time your attacks just right. It's like learning a dance, but with more swords and magic. And the story, man, it's about this mysterious mist that's turning people into monsters, and you gotta fight back. It's dark, it's epic, and it's got some seriously cool characters. Vaughn and Noah, anyone? But what really makes Legend of Legaia special is the world building. It's this weird mix of technology and fantasy, with ancient ruins and robotic enemies, plus the soundtrack is fire. Seriously, if you haven't played Legend of Legaia, you're missing out on a classic. It's got everything a good RPG needs: a compelling story, memorable characters, and a combat system that'll keep you on your toes. Plus, it's got that classic PS1 charm. You know what I'm talking about. So yeah, Legend of Legaia definitely in my top 10 PS1 games of all time. Next up, we have Suikoden 2, a game that's all about choices and consequences. You play as a young leader building an army to fight against an evil empire. Sounds pretty standard, right? Wrong. What sets Suikoden 2 apart is the sheer scale of it all. You can recruit 108 Stars of Destiny, each with their own unique abilities and backstories. Some are warriors, some are cooks, some are even talking dogs. And the story, man, it's a complex web of political intrigue, betrayals, and epic battles. Seriously, this game has more plot twists than a season of Game of Thrones, but what really makes Suikoden 2 special is the sense of community you build. As you recruit more characters, your castle grows and thrives. It's like your own little kingdom, and you're responsible for its fate. Suikoden 2 is a game that stays with you long after you finish it. It's a testament to the power of storytelling and character development. Plus, the soundtrack is amazing. Seriously, go listen to Reminiscence and tell me you don't get chills. Okay, let's take a break from all the epic adventures and talk about something a little more chill. Harvest Moon, Back to Nature, the game that taught me the joys of virtual farming. Forget saving the world. In Harvest Moon, you're saving your grandpa's farm. You plant crops, raise animals, and try to woo a wife or husband, your choice. It's a simple premise, but it's incredibly addictive. There's something so satisfying about watching your crops grow and your animals thrive. And the characters, they're also charming and quirky. Harvest Moon. Back to Nature is the perfect game to unwind after a long day. It's a reminder that sometimes the simplest things in life are the most rewarding. Plus, the music is so relaxing, it's like a warm blanket on a cold day. Next up, we have Legend of Mana, a game that's all about creativity and exploration. Imagine a world made up of scattered puzzle pieces, and you get to decide how they fit together. That's Legend of Mana in a nutshell. You play as a hero or heroine, tasked with rebuilding the world by placing artifacts that create towns, dungeons, and even entire environments. It's like playing God, but with more monsters and magic. And the art style, man, it's like stepping into a storybook with its colorful characters and whimsical landscapes. But what really makes Legend of Mana special is its freedom. You can choose to follow the main story, or you can just wander around, completing side quests and building your own little world. Legend of Mana is a game that encourages you to use your imagination. It's a reminder that sometimes the journey is more important than the destination. Plus, the soundtrack is absolutely beautiful. It's one of my favorites on the PS1. Okay, enough with the RPGs, let's talk about some racing. Gran Turismo 2, the game that turned me into a virtual gearhead. This game was the real deal with its realistic driving physics and a garage full of drool-worthy cars. From classic muscle cars to sleek sports cars, Gran Turismo 2 had it all. And the tracks. You could race through city streets, mountain passes, and even the legendary Trial Mountain. But what really makes Gran Turismo 2 special is its attention to detail. Each car felt unique to drive, and you could customize them with all sorts of upgrades. It was like having your own virtual garage. Gran Turismo 2 wasn't just about winning races. It was about mastering the art of driving. It was about finding the perfect racing line, nailing that tricky turn, and leaving your opponents in the dust. Plus, the soundtrack was pure adrenaline-pumping goodness. Next up we have Guardian Crusade, a game that proves you can't judge a book by its cover. At first glance it looks like a cutesy RPG, but beneath those adorable graphics lies a surprisingly deep and challenging game. You play as a young boy who teams up with a talking sword to collect magical cards. These cards represent different creatures that you can summon to fight for you. Think Pokemon, but with more swords and sorcery. But what really makes Guardian Crusade special is its unique pet raising system. You can feed, train, and even talk to your creatures, and they'll evolve and grow stronger. It's like having your own little army of adorable monsters. Guardian Crusade is a game that's full of surprises. It's a charming and challenging RPG that will appeal to players of all ages. Plus, the soundtrack is surprisingly epic for a game with such cute graphics. Do I even need to introduce this one? Final Fantasy VII, the game that needs no introduction. This game was a cultural phenomenon, and for good reason. It had everything: an epic story, memorable characters, groundbreaking graphics, and a soundtrack that still gives me goosebumps. You play as Cloud, a mercenary who gets caught up in a fight to save the planet from the evil Shinra Corporation. Along the way, you'll team up with a colorful cast of characters, each with their own unique abilities and personalities. But what really makes Final Fantasy VII special is its emotional impact. This game deals with some heavy themes like environmentalism, loss, and the nature of humanity. It's a story that stays with you long after you finish it. Final Fantasy VII is more than just a game, it's an experience. It's a testament to the power of storytelling and the impact that video games can have on our lives. Next up, we have Azure Dreams, a unique blend of dungeon crawling and town building. You play as Ko, a young monster tamer who inherits a magical tower from his father. Your goal? Explore the tower, collect treasure, and build up your hometown. The dungeon crawling is classic roguelike fare. You'll explore randomly generated floors, battle monsters, and collect loot. But what sets Azure Dreams apart is its town building aspect. As you collect treasure, you can use it to build new shops, houses, and attractions in your hometown. The more you build, the more people will move in, and the more prosperous your town will become. Azure Dreams is a game that's all about balance. You need to find a good balance between exploring the tower and developing your town. It's a surprisingly addictive loop that will keep you coming back for more. Plus, the soundtrack is super catchy. Next up we have Dragon Seeds, a game that's all about, well, dragons. But these aren't your typical fire-breathing lizards. In Dragon Seeds, you raise dragons from eggs, train them to fight, and even breed them to create new and powerful hybrids. The gameplay is a unique blend of monster raising and turn-based strategy. You'll need to carefully manage your dragon's stats, skills, and equipment to succeed in battle. But what really makes Dragon Seeds special is its sense of discovery. There are tons of different dragon breeds to collect, each with its own unique abilities and evolution paths. It's like a digital version of Pokemon, but with more scales and fire. Dragon Seeds is a game that will appeal to anyone who's ever dreamed of raising their own dragon army. It's a challenging and rewarding experience that will keep you hooked for hours on end. Plus, the soundtrack is surprisingly epic for a game about raising cute little dragons. And finally we have ps1, a game that's just pure, unadulterated fun. Imagine a fighting game crossed with a platformer, and you'll have some idea of what to expect. You can choose from a cast of wacky characters, each with their own unique abilities and fighting styles. The gameplay is fast-paced and chaotic, with tons of power-ups and environmental hazards to keep things interesting. But what really makes ps1 special is its multiplayer mode. This game is best enjoyed with friends, as you battle it out for supremacy. It's the perfect game for parties or just a casual night in. ps1 is a game that's impossible not to enjoy. It's bright, colorful, and full of personality. It's a reminder that sometimes the best games are the ones that don't take themselves too seriously. Plus, the soundtrack is so catchy and upbeat. So, there you have it, my top 10 PS1 games of all time. It was a trip down memory lane, reliving all those epic adventures, challenging races, and heartwarming moments. What do you think of my list? What is yours? Please comment down below. Hope you liked this video and please subscribe. Thank you. The PlayStation 1 was a truly special console, and these games represent the best of what it had to offer. They're a reminder that even with all the advancements in gaming technology, sometimes the classics are still the best.